Rick Kamla, SportsEthos.com. Appreciate your work over the years, and thanks for taking the time. You know, the NBA in 2025 has been the gift that keeps giving.
It has. Andrew, thanks for having me, man. Psyched to be on here with you. So we obviously got a lot of popcorn popping yesterday. The LeBron news about maybe this is really it. Shams is saying that moment of truth with the Lakers and all this. Maybe he's traded to Dallas. The Damian Lillard news, and I know you're gonna want to get into all of that. So this is. In every offseason, it's like this. Just when you feel like you got your arms around it and you kind of understand it and it's making sense to you, boom, you get something else that completely throws chaos into the whole mix.
Let's start with Dame, because I feel like it's an end of two eras. Dame, Giannis era over, and then we see Myles Turner will now be a Buck, which is a great fit with Giannis, but it's an end of that Tyrese Halliburton, Myles Turner era, which was really short-lived, but they overachieved, and it feels like Giannis and Dame underachieved.
I would agree with that. I definitely would agree with that. I think poor roster construction helped to doom Dame and Giannis, right? And Dame blowing a tire this year, and Giannis has missed a lot of playoff games recently. I think of the Miami series when Jimmy Butler big boyed him. But, I would say overall, the Giannis and Dame combo underachieved. You think back to last year, Dame wasn't in shape, maybe a little weary in the brain. He was homesick. He was away from family. He was going through a divorce. And there was a lot going on, right? And this year, Dame was awesome. And then got hurt and it didn't work out. Look, our league is on tilt right now, Andrew. The Luka trade, Tibbs firing, Michael Malone firing, Taylor Jenkins firing, all like just stupidity to me. And now you get this move by the Milwaukee Bucks, where they're going to stretch out Dame's contract 5 years, taking $22.5 million hits on their cap for the next 5 years. They're going to pay Dame out that money for the next 5 years through 2029, 30. None of that makes any sense to me at all if you plan on being competitive. And Chris Haynes just reported, Andrew, that Giannis is not pleased that the Bucks waived Damian Lillard. Ooh. Okay, so the plot has super thickened here. And when I was just live on the Fantasy NBA today, all this news broke. And right at the end of the show, my producer fed me the intel that Giannis is not pleased with their decision to waive Dame. That's all I need to know. That tells me that he did not co-sign any of this. That tells me that John Horst and the Bucks front office went rogue on their team and on Giannis, and that with the player empowerment era of today, Giannis now probably will ask out because he was being loyal. I'm not asking out. I'm here long term. Now they just screwed him over by waiving Damian Lillard, screwing up their books for the next 5 years, severely handicapping any ability to get better. Why would Giannis want to stay?
Well, Myles Turner is a great fit with Giannis. He's that rim-protecting stretch big that he had with Brook Lopez, but he's the younger version. And could that just be a smokescreen? Like Giannis and Dame get together, make sure it's not Giannis's idea. Public image is everything these days.
It's a good point by you. What I know is that when Chris Haynes reports about anything Damian Lillard, it's fact. So he gets his intel straight from Damian Lillard. He's not getting it from his agent, from his boy. He's getting it from Dame. So Dame obviously talked to Giannis. Giannis said, "What the F, man?" And then Dame went to Chris Haynes, or Haynes went to Dame and said, "Yo, how's Giannis processing this?" And Dame said, "Giannis isn't liking this at all." Boom, we get a major story. Part of this tells me that Milwaukee wants Giannis out, that they want to hit the reset button here. Because because think about this, Giannis to this point has been loyal, and he didn't want to ask out. Like us, the basketball world, we want the Giannis sweepstakes. We want the summer of Giannis, right? We always want the summer of. It gives us stuff to talk about. It's sexy and exciting, okay? Giannis was like, "No, I'm staying here in Milwaukee," okay? And so the only rational explanation here is that Milwaukee intentionally sabotaged their team, to piss off Giannis to the point to get Giannis to ask out so they can grab their team back and rebuild their team because they see their team going nowhere. It still doesn't make sense to me, but I'm trying to come up with a half-assed theory to make sense of the dumbassery that I'm seeing from Milwaukee right here. The only way to explain it, why would you piss off Giannis? If you were like, oh my God, thank God Giannis wants to stay. We're so happy Giannis is still here. Then why would you do a move that directly pissed off Giannis Antetokounmpo unless you're not happy with his decision to remain loyal to you and you in fact want to recreate your team without Giannis Antetokounmpo and get 7 first-round picks and several solid young players for Giannis because you're going to be able to absolutely wreck a team's roster to bring to send Giannis over there. So they would actually recreate their team in a pretty vibrant way in a Giannis trade. That's the only way I can read this, is that they actually, in fact, want Giannis off the roster, and pissing him off is how they went about doing it.
Whether Giannis likes it or not, I would have to say it increases their chances to win the East in a wide open East with Myles Turner and not Dame Lillard, who wasn't going to play anyway, right?
Again, so the East is wide open. I think the Knicks have positioned themselves.
That's a good segue because so hold on to that because I want to get to that next. But go ahead, keep going.
So
Rick.
I won't go any farther into that.
No, go.
Go. Well, I'll just stick on the Bucks here, and we can circle back to the Knicks. So the Bucks have Bobby Portis back, team-friendly contract. I like it. Okay, yeah, I love Myles Turner. I'm a big Myles Turner guy. I'm kind of pissed at Indiana for letting him go.
100%.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's not that much money. It's $27 million a year or something. My price point on Myles Turner was 30 plus. Okay, right. So I actually think that contract's slightly team friendly. Okay, so he's a good player. I like Myles Turner. Giannis is an MVP candidate. Okay, boom, then the roster falls off the table. Kyle Kuzma was garbage for Milwaukee last year. Went through the motions. You bring back Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince. I'm not a fan of either. They're just guys. I do like Kevin Porter Jr., and I love the contract, 2 years, $11 million. Yes, big time value. Okay, but Doc Rivers does not trust him. He showed that to us last year. Porter would have huge games, and he's still out there playing Ryan Dam Rollins, who isn't even on the roster this year. And they may bring him back, they may not. So Myles Turner, Bobby Portis, Giannis, Kuzma, and mishmash guards are not going to challenge to win the East, in my personal opinion. You could win a first-round playoff series maybe in the new constructed East with Tatum and all these guys hurt, but I don't see you making a long run with this group. Giannis, it seems, kind of wears down at the end of years now. He's got so much heavy lifting throughout the year that it seems when he gets to the playoffs that he's got a blown tire, he's got a hamstring injury or something that's kind of tugging him down a little bit. So if I were the Bucks, I'd be like, Giannis, where are we at? Can we trade you now? Because it just seems like that's what they want to do. I don't know why else you would come. I compared it to the David Stern death penalty for the Minnesota Timberwolves, okay? And it's not an apples-to-apples comparison. But you remember the Joe Smith fiasco and David Stern took away 5 first-round picks. He literally killed the Timberwolves. That was the death sentence. A la, in college football back in the old days when you cheated, they gave you the death sentence. Milwaukee just gave their books for the next 5 years the death sentence. You can't go into it minus $22.5 million for the next 5 years. You're screwed.
So you don't think Giannis will be a Buck when the 2025-2026 season begins?
I like the question. I like the sort of bottom line question. Right now, I'm going to say Giannis is not a Buck at the beginning of next year. Right now, I'm going to say that. I think the Bucks have sabotaged their team to piss off Giannis and get Giannis to and this reminds me of the Portland situation. You remember Dame remained loyal to Portland, and the whole basketball world is screaming, dude, ask for a trade, get out of there. They literally want to trade you. Why are you sticking around at this carcass of a team? And he hung in there and hung in there and hung in there. And then it finally got to that breaking point. I think Milwaukee's there with Giannis, and they want to create the breaking point. I feel like that's what they've done today.
I want to talk LeBron. I want to talk Lakers. I don't see why LeBron and the Lakers would split ways. LeBron is on his farewell tour, and he's still a really good basketball player. I get it. Maybe you could reset around Luka in a way, but I'm hearing a lot of Knicks LeBron buzz, And I was hooping. I was hooping at the gym the other day. And they're like, "Combo. Do you think LeBron will get traded to the Knicks?" No, I don't. But of course, for the Knicks, it makes sense, right? I don't know how it would make sense for the Lakers. Of course, for the Knicks, it would make sense. LeBron, right now, at age 40, would be the greatest Knick ever. Walt Frazier was great. Patrick Ewing was great. LeBron James right now would be the greatest Knick ever. And then on the business side of things, even if they don't win a championship, which I think they'll have a better chance to win the championship, you get the LeBron farewell tour in New York. I just don't think it'll happen, though.
So, Andrew, Combo. I'll call you Combo. I like that better.
Okay.
And I know with the New York thing. I mean, dude, they had Zion Williamson photoshopped in a New York Knicks uniform.
Yeah.
Did that ever even come close to happening?
No.
And now it shouldn't happen, right? Leave him in New Orleans. Nobody wants Zion now. Half man, half a season. He's not my guy. This guy. I mean, for the love of God, play the game you were born to play. Anyway, forget about that. So, of course, there's going to be connecting the dots of New York to LeBron. No. The connecting the dots is LeBron to Dallas. Okay? That is the trade that he's the relationship with Kyrie, the relationship with Anthony Davis. Cooper Flag going there. The Lakers, by the way, according to reports, taking the steering wheel away from LeBron and making moves exclusive from LeBron right now. Ramona Shelburne, let me go to my rundown for my last show here real quick. What did Ramona Shelburne say? I'm trying to get there as fast as I can, Combo. Ramona Shelburne said it was a very key piece. They are not consulting with LeBron this year. Shams Charania said, we're seeing a moment of truth between LeBron and the Lakers. So I do think, Combo, that we may get a LeBron trade here. I really do. And I feel like if we get a LeBron trade, okay, it will extend his career. I agree with you. If he comes back this year and he's a Laker, that might be it. If he goes to Dallas, okay, and you've got Kyrie missing half, 2/3, whatever he's going to miss of this year, right? He's going to miss a ton of games. So you're really not going to get a full go at it if LeBron goes to Dallas. So I think if LeBron goes to Dallas, it virtually guarantees him of 2 more years in the NBA. Because you got to kind of play that out with a full offseason, full training camp with Kyrie, with AD, with Flag, with Braun, with all their other guys, right? And you won't be able to do that if he's traded there this year. So, and going back to LA would be PJ Washington, probably Daniel Gafford, maybe Klay Thompson, maybe a Jaden Hardy, maybe a Max Christie. But Dallas has assets to ball up their fists and go get a LeBron James and then create an Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James big three, which obviously would be the sexiest thing going in the NBA. Dallas would be on national TV every single game, and it would all be happening. Okay, and the Lakers would, I think, be better because you would get all of these players, you would be deeper, you would have a crew to go with Luka and Reeves and Rui and all the guys that you currently have. I actually think it would be a trade that benefited both teams.
The Rich Paul cryptic statement, do you believe that was more putting pressure on the Lakers to try and win now, or that was more of a soft trade request?
Both. I think it was both. Because Rich Paul is Clutch Sports. LeBron James is Clutch Sports. They are Clutch Sports. And they ran the Lakers, okay, Combo, and they ran the Lakers into the ground. Okay, you remember the movie Step Brothers, where the 2 knuckleheads are on the boat and they forget to drive the boat and they run the boat ashore. You remember that, right?
Right, yep.
Well, that's what LeBron and Rich Paul and Anthony Davis did to the Lakers with the Russell Westbrook trade. They ran their ship into the shore, okay, and they needed a new ship. And obviously they scapegoated Russ. They benched him. It just was a mess. It was a disaster, right? That was a LeBron production. After that, and this was gradual, but Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka took the steering wheel back. It was over a little bit of a period of time. And obviously the Bronny selection last year was still an indication that LeBron had some say in that boardroom, right?
Right.
But
and the JJ hiring. I mean, it was his podcast partner.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you brought that up because LeBron said, I had nothing to do with the hiring of J.J. Redick. It's the biggest lie in the history of the NBA. And he didn't even need to do it. Like, bro, you can't beat those allegations. You did a podcast with the guy, and you're telling and you're LeBron James, and we're supposed to believe you had no say in JJ Redick. Give me a break, bro. Who do you think we are out here?
They were breaking down basically how they could fix the Lakers on the show.
Exactly. So stop it. But so what Shams is saying, what Ramona is saying is very, very important. And it's just a continuation and I think a culmination. Okay. And Combo, think about this. You have a new owner of the LA Lakers, Mr. Walter, the owner of the Dodgers. Jeannie Buss no longer owns the team. She operates the team. She no longer owns the team. So LeBron being able to big boy Jeannie and Rob may have been the case. Will LeBron be able to big boy Mr. Walter, who's a Goliath billionaire on planet Earth? And by the way, Walter has no real ties to LeBron. I mean, he's his employee right now, but he doesn't have history. He doesn't have a championship with Bron, so it would be easier for him to just cut him, trade him, bring all these assets back from Dallas and recreate your team. Combo, you know this. What does new ownership typically want? They want their stuff. They
want to be splashy, like we see it with Ishbia. Like they want to make, yeah.
They want to be splashy. They want their stuff. They want their coach, their GM.
Yeah.
They want to recreate the team in their vision, like what Ishbia did down in Phoenix, right? Dude, he went down there with a baseball bat, right? Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was a birthday party pinata that Ishbia went crazy on down there, right? Dismantling and redoing the team. Paul's out. Mikal Bridges is out. Cam Johnson's out. Monty, he tore down a near championship team, and look at him now.
You mentioned Kyrie being out, and in a Kyrie commercial, actually, Bill Russell once said, basketball has always been about getting buckets. D'Lo signing, Karis LeVert signing, and Clarkson to the Knicks. Clarkson really fills a need with the New York Knicks with off-the-bench scoring. And he's not an Aaron Gordon or Andrew Wiggins where he could have been like maybe a superstar in some alternative universe, but we never seen him in a winning situation. I really like this for the Knicks.
Okay, so I am going to play the I told you so card, Combo, even though I didn't tell you, but I told the basketball world. All last year on the Fantasy NBA Today and on the SportsEthos NBA show with Rick Kamla, it's a reality podcast that I do. All year long, I said the Knicks bench sucks. The Knicks bench is going to keep them from winning big, and they've got to fix their bench. And I have the solution because I'm not a guy that will point out a problem without providing a solution typically. Mm-hmm. And so I provided the solution. His name was Jordan Clarkson. Okay, I said this all last year because he's exactly what the Knicks need. They need a badass microwave off their bench who's comfortable in a bench role and who runs into the smoke. Okay, what do we know about Jordan Clarkson? Jordan Clarkson loves pressure shots. He takes big shots. He makes big shots. He has a litany of game winners on his resume, okay? And obviously he's a good stat guy when he gets good minutes, okay? I believe Jordan Clarkson is going to challenge for sixth man of the year this year with the New York Knicks. And I saw this last year. I'm so excited that the Knicks are going down this road and that he's going to click. And thank you, Danny Ainge, for freeing up Sexton and also Clarkson and creating. I think Ace Bailey now is going to start for Utah out there because of moving out these two guards. But this is going to be a huge move for the New York Knicks, maybe an award winner. You also pick up Gershon Yabusele, who I like a lot. And so now you've got McBride, Mitchell Robinson, Yabusele, and Jordan Clarkson. Say hello to a bench, New York City. And I think New York City, and I said this before this move, New York City is going to win the East and go to the NBA Finals next year. And I feel way more confident in saying that now that they're going to get Jordan Clarkson.
With that said, who should be the next coach of the New York Knicks? The two names that are in the NBA zeitgeist, the Knicks zeitgeist right now. Mike Brown, Dawn Staley. Mike Brown's getting a lot more buzz than Dawn Staley, but what are your thoughts?
You had me at zeitgeist.
I read a lot of Robert Greene. He's always talking about the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times.
I don't know who Robert Greene is.
Oh, he wrote 48 Laws of Power. Come
I'm probably playing those things when you're reading Robert Greene. Next coach for the Knicks. It should be Michael Malone. I don't understand.
I've been saying it. I've been saying the same thing.
Combo, help me. Why has his name ever, other than you and me, been attached to the New York Knicks?
Yes, by a lot of fans, but people close to the Knicks have always said they have no interest, and I still don't know why.
I don't know why Denver whacked him. I thought it was a dumbass move. I don't know why the Knicks aren't in on him. I remember seeing him, doing stand-ups for ESPN, wearing a suit on the court during the playoffs. I'm like, good for him, right? But no, Michael Malone should not be wearing a suit. He should be wearing coaching gear, stalking a sideline and screaming at a damn referee. That's what Michael Malone should be doing. I love Michael Malone, by the way. Huge fan. He's exactly what the Knicks need. And so I don't understand all that. Don Staley would be a gangster get. I like it. It's radical, because there's never been a female head coach in the NBA. But you know what? I'm a radical guy, Combo. I like radical music. I like it. Why get Mike Brown?
Yeah, Dawn Staley is way more interesting than Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown brings more of a modern style of basketball than Tibbs did, which is an upgrade on the offensive side of things. But I think Dawn Staley is more motivating, more interesting, and I do like her as a candidate more than Mike Brown.
Me too. Look, I'm a fan of Mike Brown. I worked with Mike at NBA TV. Arguably the nicest human being I've ever met. Everybody loves Mike Brown. He's a terrific coach. I don't think this is the market for him, Combo.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mike Brown, and I'm not saying Mike Brown's a punk at all. He's not a punk, okay? He's a leader of men. He has coached big-time players, future Hall of Famers. He's done great things, okay? He's a terrific coach. I don't think the New York City market is for Mike Brown, okay? Knowing his personality, and the money he's made, why subject yourself to that? It's just stress every day. He doesn't need that. To me, and so let me get to Dawn Staley here. What I love about Dawn Staley, I'd love to cuss right now, but I won't. She is a bleeping gangster. She's as hardcore as it gets. That's why I think Becky Hammon's going to be a good NBA coach. You can't come in and be, warm and fuzzy and mellow and like you especially you're a female coming in, okay? You are a pioneer. You are breaking ground. I'm not saying you come in like aggressively and weirdly and all that kind of stuff, but you've got to come in severely confident and like this, right? Like bowed up, and ready for it. And Becky Hammon to me is, Dawn Staley to me is, because they're G's. They're certified winners, certified champions, Hall of Fame players, okay? Like instant respect and credibility. But what they've done as coaches has greatly enhanced that credibility. I think we're at a point in 2025. We've probably got a female assistant, at least one, on every single coaching staff in the NBA. It's getting to that point, right? You see a lot of female coaches in the NBA right now. It's getting more normalized. And so I think the time is right. I really think the climate is correct for Dawn Staley to take a job like this. And I would rather go with the unknown while swinging for the fences. Relative unknown, right? Because Dawn's never coached in the NBA. I would rather go with a relative unknown and swing for the fences and huge upside with a Dawn Staley. It may completely fizzle and be a failure, and it may be the greatest coaching hire the Knicks have ever made, okay? And hiring Mike Brown is hiring Mike Brown. He's had several jobs. Yeah, it's just, to me, go get, if you made the move to fire Tom Thibodeau, which I did not agree with at all, okay, go do something out of the box. Because you were in the box with Tibbs. You wanted to get out of the box. So really get out of the box with Dawn Staley and see if she can trigger your team. And I'm telling you right now, what a story this would be. Because I think Dawn Staley, there's no doubt in my mind Dawn Staley could guide this Knicks roster, this badass Knicks roster, to the NBA Finals in the wide open East that we are about to enjoy in 25-26. There's no doubt in my mind Dawn Staley could get them to the mountaintop, the NBA Finals. Will they beat OKC? I would bet against that. But I think I would bet on them to make the Finals with Dawn Staley, and what a story that would be.
I want to take it out west. The Blazers paid DeAndre Ayton 30 M's to walk away. Thoughts?
I mean, the guy, he's one of my least favorite players in the league. I can't stand DeAndre Ayton. Okay, and I loved him coming out of
Arizona. Yep.
Loved him. Future Hall of Famer, I said. 8-time All-Star, I said. Perennial 2010 guy, I said. And you know what, Combo? I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. My evaluation, Phoenix's evaluation, taking him number 1 in the Luka Trae Young draft, was not incorrect. We all saw it. This guy, 7'1", runs like the wind, jumps out of the gym. He should be 2010 with 2.5 blocks every game, period. And he's not. He's 14-10 with a block. He is a chronic underachiever. He's a game misser. The guy can't even get out of his damn driveway in some snow ice storm up in Portland to go play a game. Okay? And so that's why Portland buys him out. He's played half the games the last 2 years. He's been going through the motions when he's been on the court. He went through the motions in Phoenix. That pissed off Monty Williams, who wants him to go for it. That's why that whole thing unraveled. He checked out as soon as he got the max contract. He said, I have no more to prove. I'm a max guy in the NBA. He said that. Bro, you're not an all-star yet. You're not a champion yet. You still have a ton of stuff to prove, okay? So I'm not surprised Portland bought him out. I love that they bought him out. They got his underachieving butt out of there, and now you can hand over the center spot to Donovan Clingan, who I think is going to have a fantastic year.
It's interesting because everybody was, kind of pointing to the Warriors, but now it seems like they're going to sign Al Horford. I don't even know where this leaves DeAndre Ayton at this point.
Lakers. It's kind of Lakers or bust. And maybe Ayton to the Lakers appeases LeBron to the point where he's like, because, look, that obviously the whole world knows they need a center, right? They have this glaring need for a center.
Which is weird. That wasn't the first signing. It was strange.
Agreed. I see Capella go off the board. I see Lopez go off the board. I mean,
right.
It tells me that the Lakers kind of sort of know they're going to get DeAndre Ayton. Why would you, dude, if you're the Lakers, why would you let Lopez sign with your enemy for $9 million a year? Brook Lopez at 2-18 on the Lakers would look fantastic.
Oh, and DeAndre Ayton is a clutch guy, right?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I actually don't know that.
Okay. I might be wrong.
I don't know that.
I might be wrong. But go ahead, proceed.
He might be, and if he is, then that marries that thing, I think, even more. But the fact that the Lakers let Capella go $7 million for Capella? He'd look great in a Laker uniform at $7 million, right? And I'm a bigger Brook Lopez fan than a Capella fan, but those guys can both play. The fact that Atlanta curbed Clint Capella doesn't mean Clint Capella sucks. It means he fell out of their plan. Okay, Brook Lopez. Doc Rivers did not like Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez playing time got really weird, especially in the playoffs. Doc completely lost faith in him. That doesn't mean Brook Lopez can't play. It means one coach didn't see him as a fit. I still like both of these guys, and the fact that the Lakers let them both go. Look, if the Lakers don't get Horford or DeAndre Ayton, they might as well close the doors on their business, okay? Because then you have completely botched this thing. If you let Lopez and Capella go at that money and you aren't able to pull either Horford or DeAndre Ayton, and I do like Rob Pelinka, but that's probably a fireable offense. That is some serious mismanagement of free agency if it goes down that way.
Two more things here, Rick. Who has the best chance to win an NBA championship next year, not named OKC?
Great question. Minnesota.
Wow.
Love their offseason. Love the stability and the cohesion. I know you lose NAW, but they got young guns that are going to backfill his production, I believe. You keep Nas, team-friendly deal. You keep Randall, team-friendly deal. The Wolves. I'm going to say the Rockets, because last year they've been the busiest team in this offseason by far. It's not even close. Probably have won the offseason so far. And I'm not going to say that's not close because there's a lot of winners here. Okay, let me take you through Houston's depth chart. Like for me, like roster construction is obviously huge for all of us, but especially for this question. Outside of OKC, who's the best chance to win? I put the Knicks in there. Okay, the Rockets depth chart starter: Şengün, Jabari, Durant, Amen, and Van Vliet. Your second unit is Steven Adams, Dorian Finney-Smith, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepherd. That's probably the best bench in the league. The only debate would be with them and OKC. Your third unit for Houston is Capella, Jeff Green, Jayshawn Tate, and Aaron Holiday. They have the deepest team in the league outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I would give you Rockets, Wolves, and Knicks. I believe have the best chance to win next year outside of OKC. And you know what? I'm going to throw Denver in there as well. Because I really like Denver's offseason. They're going to have a healthy De'Ron Holmes this year. You turn MPJ and a 32 pick into Cam Johnson. You go out and bring Bruce Brown back. Okay, so I really like Denver's offseason so far, and I would put them in that mix as well.
I always appreciated your work at NBA TV.
Thank you.
With that said, what does NBA TV have to do? You know, I know you're not there anymore, to get to the level of an NFL network.
Combo, dude, I like you, Combo. I like you. This is one of the most direct questions I have ever gotten, and I'm going to take the bait. Obviously, 17 years at NBA TV, and obviously, you know, they made a decision to let me go. I have a ton of gratitude and appreciation. It formed my career identity, okay? And it's helped me get other jobs, and like it's set me up in a very positive way. Obviously, you know, I mean, if my preference would be to still be there. My skills didn't diminish; they just made a decision, right? So here, how do they get to the NFL Network's level? The NFL Network is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how awesome it is, right? It's shiny, it's fancy, it's tech. Their talent is fantastic. They're heavily invested into fantasy. Okay, they have a daily fantasy show, which obviously that started my career with NBA TV. It was the fantasy show back in the day, and then they made a bunch of bad decisions with that. You know, this one wasn't a bad decision. They brought Dennis Scott on the show, who's my homie. I love Dennis Scott, and so he brought the reality, and I brought the fantasy, and we had great fantasy shows together and great chemistry, and those shows were awesome. Then they made the decision to take me off of that show, put Jared Greenberg on that show. And I'm buddies with Jared. I love Jared Greenberg. I don't begrudge him at all. I didn't agree with that decision. Okay. And then they just made the decision to just stop doing the fantasy show altogether. So that's dumbassery by NBA TV, in my opinion. That's a really, really bad decision to just say goodbye to fantasy sports. And, you know, they've got some little shows that aren't very good that lead up to tip off and stuff. How easy would it be to have a half-hour show on fantasy and betting on NBA TV Monday through Friday?
Why isn't this a focus of the NBA to make NBA TV the greatest product possible? Right? I mean, it's
money.
It's great promotion for the league.
It's money.
Okay.
It's money. The NFL has limitless money. The money knows no bounds, okay? And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Fox runs NFL Network. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think Fox is the big boss of NFL Network.
Okay.
Fox has tons of money, okay? So why is NFL Network the best of the sports networks? They have the most money, okay? That's why they're the best. MLB Network is also fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I love how they have their anchor sort of leads you into the game, and then they cut up the play-by-play voiceover highlights of the game, like literally from the broadcast, right? I think that's dope. I think that's super, super, super cool, and a great way to do it. I also like, the announcer and the analyst talking over highlights. I like that too, but I do like how MLB Network does that. It streamlines it. You don't need an analyst. You just need an anchor, and then you chop up the highlights. So it's a very inexpensive but very cool way to do your overnight show, your recap show of all the games. I love what MLB Network is doing. And it sounds like MLB Network is going to take over operational control of NBA TV. That's going to be good news for NBA TV. NBA TV I mean, I could talk TV all day. All right. So the problem with NBA TV.
Me too. Me too. I could talk TV all day. I don't know if that's what the listeners want, but that's what I want to talk about. But go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
So one of my major problems with NBA TV, they have not changed their set.
Yes.
In years.
Yeah, that
set is awful. We thought the set was awful back when I was working there. Okay?
It's crazy.
And we didn't talk about it in the shop. I don't want to get fired, okay? But like we'd be out having a beer or dude, our set sucks. It's just awful. And it's not like comfort, like sitting. No, it's how it looks on TV. There's not enough space. Like the top of their heads is right at the top of the screen because the damn set takes up the whole shot.
Presentation's everything.
Do you agree with me that the set, the look of NBA TV is awful?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and it takes away from the talent because the talent doesn't look as good when the environment isn't as good. Even when you're watching an overseas basketball game, right? I played overseas. If you're watching two games of similar level and one's in a small high school looking gym and one's in a big arena with a crowd, which players are going to look better? Which teams are going to look better? Like presentation is everything, you know?
Yep. No, I agree. So, but it comes down to money. Okay.
Yeah.
It was always the thing. You know, NBA TV, I think, started in 1999. I'm pretty sure that's true. Mm-hmm. I came in 2003 and I exited 2019, I believe. And so, like, I was a part of the rise of NBA TV. And, you know, that big of a part of the rise of NBA TV. I'm not trying to take a whole bunch of, you know, it was me, Spiro Ditas, Andre Aldridge,
right.
Kristen Ledlow, Grant Hill. I mean, I could go on. Vince Cellini, Matt Weiner, who's still there. I'm thinking of Bruce Beck, Gary Apple, my homies back in the day. Kurt Menefee used to come in and anchor nights back in the early days of NBA.
So it was Atlanta, right? It was in Atlanta.
No, it was in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Yes. Really?
It was in Secaucus, New Jersey until 2011, and then they went down to Atlanta, and a lot of people up there, Combo, said, I'm not leaving New York. I'm not leaving New Jersey. I'm like, you all are crazy, okay?
Yeah.
I'm out. And went down and spent, so I was 6 years, 6 years at NBA TV in Secaucus, and then 11 years with NBA TV with Turner Sports in Atlanta. And, you know, forged relationships with Shaq, Kenny, Charles, Ernie.
How was it working with Shaq?
I mean, it's amazing. He's hilarious. He's the funniest human I know by far. It's not even close. I love them all.
Yeah.
You know, Shaq did a bit, and I wasn't even on the air. I was on the air with him one night, and I had a big time radio job, the midday show on 92.9 The Game in Atlanta for 7 years, overlapping the NBA TV job. So I was working my ass off. Whew, the money was great, but I was working my butt off, right? So I would need some Red Bull. You know, if we're working till 2:30 a.m., you know, doing the overnight show, like I had some octane here, and I'm not a coffee guy, right? Nor am I a smoker, so I need something to give me a little juice. So I would drink Red Bull, and one night Shaq's like, he's like, Kamla, what is that? And I'm like, it's Red Bull. He goes, stop drinking that. It's going to kill you. I go, I can't, Shaq. I got to do the show. So about a week later or something like that, he's on. I think he was on with Dennis Scott. And it's always skits and bits whenever those guys are on the air. They just literally like fart around, and it's the most funny thing you've ever seen. So Shaq grabbed his drink and started like hard drinking it. And Dennis was like, what are you doing? He's like, Kamla juice. And he would drink it because it's Red Bull, right? And so he's like doing it real fast, like I'm all hopped up on Red Bull. Like he like hilariously mocked me drinking Red Bull live on the air.
And what? So, but it was an imaginary cup, or was he really?
No. He had like the little blue cup that we had, the little coffee cup that they may still have out there. Hopefully, they've washed them over the last 7 years, for the love of God. I'm sure they have. It's a joke, probably not a good one. But yeah, the little cup that we drink, because you don't want like a water bottle on the set, right? You put a little cup out there that looks better.
Yes.
They at least they did that to spruce up their set a little bit. And like the NBA TV, like when it's Thanksgiving time and they have their little Thanksgiving motif, it's always so lame. And you look at NFL Network, like what they do, like for Christmas and stuff, and it's like, wow, that's gorgeous, that's badass. NBA TV's got to up the look of their set. Like that, if MLB Network takes over, that is job one for NBA TV. And look, I can say these things. They're not going to hire me back. The phone hasn't rung from them in 7 years or something like that. So I'm going to say what the hell I want to say. Their set is garbage. They need to upgrade it. I like their talent, though. Combo, I like their talent, okay? I like the anchors. Brendan Haywood's my boy. Steve Smith's my boy. Dennis Scott's my boy. Sam Mitchell. These are my guys, man. These are my dear friends. So I don't have any Isaiah Thomas, right? I have no problem with the talent. The talent is top notch. The set sucks.
I feel like it's a different Rick now. Are you enjoying the creative control that you now have?
It is what it is. I'm a bit of a chameleon, right? I do like creative control, and there's a lot of creative control in live television, okay? Where there's not creative control is the pregame show. Okay, like that's the producer has that thing, boom, 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 and you just follow the rundown. You've got an interview.
But it was less takes from you back then, right? It's more takes now.
What do you mean?
I feel like you share your opinion even more now than back on NBA TV.
There's well spotted. There's no question. They didn't want me opining on NBA TV.
Right.
They didn't want that. And so what I would do, and I wanted to do what they wanted me to do, right? They wanted me to tee up the analysts. They wanted me to be a traffic cop. Cool. Like Ernie Johnson. Ernie has a lot more license than me and most other broadcasters. He's been there 100 years, okay? So he would have some little soliloquies, but not very often, right? Because he knows his role. It's about Charles Kenny and Shaq, and he's the traffic cop. I learned a lot from Ernie. I went to school on Ernie, okay? The School of Ernie, traffic copping TV shows. He's probably the best to ever do it, okay?
Yeah.
Probably the best to ever do it. And I picked his ear a lot, and we talked a lot. He's a great human being, man. He really is. All those guys are. Do they have egos? Yeah, but they don't flaunt it. It's not annoying, okay? Like, they're super fun guys. They joke around. Kenny Smith called me the guru because of the fantasy stuff. Shaq called me Kamla Juice. He would joke on me all the time. Charles and I, like, he would invite me out. I'd go running around Atlanta and stuff with Charles. Like, I mean, blessed to do it. Like, Charles wants to go partying with me. I'm dropping everything, bro. I'm clearing the deck. I don't care what I have planned. The answer is yes. Let's go party. So yeah, man, great memories, great time. And I do have a ton of creative control right now. Building these shows and all this kind of stuff. But when there was live TV on NBA TV, like if we're covering a draft, if we're covering free agency, and there's all this open space, and you get a signing, and boom, we're reacting to it live. There was room in that moment for me to give a little bit of my opinion, not a lot, not a long paragraph, but a little bit of like, ooh, I like this move for Houston, boom, and get it over to Steve Smith and be like, are you seeing the vision here? Do you like this trade? Tricky Ricky, I love this trade. Boom, he goes into it. So that's kind of how that would go. But the money they were paying me, I was very okay giving up creative control and just being a traffic cop and staying in the suit and in the lane they wanted me to be.
Rick, great stuff. You're always welcome back on the show. I know you're at SportsEthos, but where else could we find you? Talk to me.
So yeah, sportsethos.com. We encourage you all to go there and set up a subscription. It's not a lot of money. It's great bang for the buck. We have an app, the SportsEthos app. We'd love you guys to download that. In Fantasy NBA today, I'll be back on Wednesday, Combo, at 11 a.m. Eastern with any breaking news that happens between now and then. I'll be talking more. We're going to get a lot more news on this Damian Lillard, Giannis stuff. And I'm going to be going into my fantasy winners and losers of this sort of opening here of free agency. And it will include sort of a bigger look of the offseason, but some of the fantasy winners and losers. So it'll be a big episode tomorrow. SportsEthos, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I appreciate you having me, man.
Anytime, Rick. Really appreciate your time and talk soon.
All right, Combo. See you later, man.